Hi, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I hope you've had a lovely week so far. This is your daily tarot reading for May 29th, 2019. Sorry, I kind of forgot for a second. This is Wednesday, May 29th, and today we're going to do a quick reading. And I just wanted to do something that was a little bit more, I guess, spiritual. So I kind of want to get our overall energy, but then I just want to look at where you are standing spiritually. So what is your spiritual message on this day? That may have less to do with like your mundane life. I know a lot of the readings we do can have to do with like jobs or relationships or just things that have to do with how we respond and how we experience our physical lives. But I want to get a little bit deeper today, or at least try to, with the cards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started as usual. Get yourself into that kind of zone where you're ready to receive the messages, where you're connected with your higher self, and you are just kind of prepared for whatever messages are coming, and you're open to not only receiving them but to communicating them, okay? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a communicative relationship where I am tapping in to something, or my higher self that's tapping into you and your higher self. So get yourself into that zone. Take a deep, deep breath. Ignore the sirens if you can hear them. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to look at your overall energy using the mini oracle deck for whoever this reading is meant for. Whoever it is that is here to receive this message. What message is being offered to them, to their spirit, from their higher self, from deity, and from those beings that wish to watch over us and take care of us? Whoa, all of these cards tried to flip around, like a whole half of the deck, so that won't work. What is the message for whoever this reading is meant for this day, Wednesday, May 29th, 2019? What is the guiding overall message for their spirit? Where is their spirit standing? Like, what's going on? What is the message they need to hear today? Please and thank you, from my higher self to theirs, to them, all the way back through to these cards. Please and thank you. When I lean toward love, I am led. And then the next card was, I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. So both of these are a message of being led. And this one in particular is telling you to allow yourself to be led by acts of love, by the feeling of love. You know, if you're outside and you see an animal and you are the kind of person like me who'll see like a dog and instantly it's like this warmth fills up my chest and I'm like filled with love. I'm just like, yes, I love you. You're fluffy. You're perfect. Everything about you is easy to love. So I think this message is to try to cultivate that kind of energy in your everyday life, in your everyday actions, and especially when it comes to your spirit, because that is what we're asking for. And I think spiritually, whatever steps you take, whatever actions you choose to follow in your spiritual path, I think you really need to look at it from the side of love. Okay, so I think spiritually, our spirits, our essence is what guides us to act in the physical world. So I don't think we can completely separate the two. I don't think that's the way we're meant to live. I think we are meant to integrate both our spiritual and our mundane, our soul and our body are one. They're both as important as the other. You're not just a soul in a body. And I know I've said this before. You're not just a soul guiding a body. You are a body and a soul. You are a soul that is entwined in every single cell of your body, okay? Every part of you is valuable. Every part of you is worth caring for and worth taking care of. And I think when you let that love fill up your soul, when you understand how valuable you are, it's not just going to help you heal yourself, it's also going to help you to heal other people and heal, the world around you, okay? So that's your overall energy. Let's see what messages you have. What are the messages? The spiritual soul messages needed to be heard. What do they need to hear? Whoever this reading is meant for. What messages do we have for their soul, for their spirit, for their essence? What do they need to know about where their soul is standing, where it is headed, and how they can keep on a good path, or how they can take care of themselves? What do they need to know about their soul for this day, Wednesday? And they being whoever is watching this video and open to receiving this message, whoever is meant to receive this message and was brought here by their higher selves. Please tell us, what message does their soul need to hear, or is their soul trying to tell their mind on this day, Wednesday, May 29th, 2019? Please and thank you. You have the 9 of Clubs. You have, why do I never remember what this is? Is this Justice? Maybe Justice. You have the King of Coins. I'm actually going to check because I brought the book with me today because, as we all know, this deck trips me up literally every time I read from it. So I brought this cute little booklet to help me not be so tripped up. It's Judgment. I said Justice. It's Judgment. And then you got the the Page of Swords and the 10 of Swords. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. So what message is your soul trying to deliver to you? Okay, so we started with the 9 of Clubs. So the 9 of Clubs tends to represent a need for comfort, a need for being safe, but a worry that maybe you're not as safe as you think. Maybe all of the work that you've done to get yourself to the safe point, you're worried that you're on the precipice. Spiritually, I think this card, I think it says that there is a desire for comfort, for spiritual peace, for spiritual stability. But there's something that, whether it's mental illness, whether it's family trauma, whether it's some other kind of trauma that you've experienced, there's something that's keeping you from achieving that peace that you want. It could be depression, like I said, it could be mental illness. It's just something that's just in the back of your mind that's just always like, hey, even though things seem good right now, don't let your guard down. And you really, really want to let your guard down. Spiritually, I think you want to be in this safe place. And then we have Judgment. And I think, the place that you're in right now isn't the safe place, because this tells me that you're trying to get out of a situation. You're trying to find the right path. And maybe you're struggling with that. Maybe you're having some difficulty finding the path towards that spiritual stability that you're looking for. Okay, and it could be, that you're dealing with a lot of like wild emotions, and not even like even just the normal standard emotions. Like you get angry and all of a sudden you feel that your spirit or your emotions, your thoughts, you feel like they're not necessarily in your control. And so yeah, you ever hear the saying, a bull in a china shop? That's kind of what I'm feeling with this pentacle here, this King of Pentacles, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm just getting a lot of energy of like someone who gets angry a lot, someone whose emotions are erratic, someone who's not really, who's got kind of a cloudy outlook, someone who's like, okay, I want to be better and I want to heal, but if I heal, then what does that mean? Like, I don't know, I feel like maybe you have a lot of pride. Maybe like you don't want to let go of arguments, you don't want to let go of fights, you don't want to admit when you're wrong. And you're bullheaded, you're very bullheaded. And I think, that's why you're struggling on getting to that position of wanting to feel safe, wanting to feel stable. And even though you're trying a lot of different methods to figure it out, there's just a lot of thoughts in your head. There are a lot of things that like you're I feel like you're someone whose mind is upset and is active. So you're thinking a lot. You're very lost. You're always thinking about these ways that you can heal, how you can figure out spiritual stability, how you can get to the position where you're doing the right thing, where you're doing the thing you feel like you're called to do, whether that's just healing yourself, helping heal others, starting businesses, working a job that you've been trying to get into for years, just being stable, like you know what it is that you want to do, you know where you want to be and the kind of person you want to be. But because of this kind of prideful, kind of angry, erratic, bullheaded energy that I'm getting, you're just kind of in the thought stages. So you haven't really taken as much action as you should have to get where you would like to be, because this is kind of getting in the way. It's your pride, it's your ego. So like you probably know you need to be going to therapy and you don't go because you think every therapist you've ever seen was wrong. I've been there, we've done that. So like it's just kind of, you're making it difficult for people to help you, okay? And a lot of it, I think, is because of your thoughts, because you're thinking, either everybody is against you, or, there's, it's hard to change. And I think you want to change. I do. I feel like with these first, especially the first two cards that came out, I think this is your obstacle to the change that you're looking for. And I think this is speaking towards that King of Coins. I think this thing that's in the back of your mind is keeping you from reaching that is this specifically. And even though you're feeling called to like move away from it and called to like free yourself from whatever it is that is spiritually weighing you down, like it's you're just being very stubborn, out, and it's not necessarily by choice, okay? This is like your personality, this is how you were raised, these are ingrained responses to trying to change, okay? So what that means is like, it's just you instantly balk at things that could help you. And even though logically you may know that they could help you, there's a part of you that is just really resistant to healing. And so in your head you're wondering, how can I fix this? How can I start this new journey of being a better person, of being a healthier person, of being a happier person, of being a healing person? How can I let go of all this anger and all this stubborn like resistance and all this like stuff that's got me focusing on the on unimportant things, okay? So like you're focusing on very earthly things. Even in your spirit, it's like you're not giving enough energy or enough time to your healing because of this, okay? You're very focused, I think, on earthly things, on what you can and cannot see or touch or feel, and you're not really taking the time to look inside, and I mean feel like literally like touch, and you're not really trying to take inside and see how you feel there, like what your soul is feeling. You're not checking in with yourself. You're just you're telling yourself you want to make these changes, you want to start anew, but you're not actually, it's very, very shallow the way you're thinking about it. You're not actually digging deep. You're not actually going inward and looking at the things that you're not paying attention to this, okay? That's the side of you that you're just being very stubborn about. And you may be paying attention to all your other flaws, all your other personality quirks, all your other things, like your relationships or how you respond to people directly. But then you go home and there's still this anger underneath. There's still these other feelings, and you're basically just trying to suppress it, I think, but you're not actually dealing with it. And so this tells me that you're kind of very shallow with the way you're trying to approach this healing journey that you're on. But then we have this 10 of Swords. And I think the message here is that that's got to end. The way you've been treating yourself, the way you've been treating your spirit, the way you've been just kind of claiming that to want one thing and knowing that that thing it's available to you. And I'm feeling very tight. I don't know how to explain it, but I think all of that, all of this shallow thinking, this stubbornness, I think it's time for that to end, because you're really hurting yourself more than anybody else. You're causing yourself more pain than is necessary, and I think people are starting to take notice as well. They're starting to see that maybe your behavior isn't the healthiest for you, but instead of helping you or anything, a lot of people may have been pulling away. You may have noticed that people are pulling away from you for whatever reason. And I think that's because you've been hurting yourself, and it's time for that to end. And it's time to stop, and really, really work towards getting into that comfort zone, getting into that safety. I don't want to say comfort zone, because this is your comfort zone right now. Okay, it's not comfortable, but this is where you feel you're this is where you are. It's where you've always been. Um, but to get into that place where you're feeling comforted, where you're feeling safe, where you're feeling positive and abundant, and like you know who you are, and you know the path you need to be on, and you know how to get through the hard times. I think this has to come to an end. This bullheadedness, this very shallow way of looking at your flaws, this very shallow way of claiming to be doing shadow work, but you're not actually making those changes. You're not actually putting in the work to fix these deals, because again, it is hurting you. It is causing you so much more pain than you deserve, than is necessary for anyone. And I don't think you're acting in love in this situation. I'm gonna pull 3 more cards. Please tell us maybe what can be done to improve the outcome. What can be done so that whoever this reading is meant for can heal? So that they can heal, so that they can come to that place of comfort, of spiritual stability, of knowing that they are on the right spiritual path. What can they do to bring this healing to their soul and to overcome the obstacles that are there? Please and thank you. You have the 8 of Swords, right? You have the Fool, and then you have the Devil. What's the next one? Next is 6 of Clubs. Right, okay. So, I'm going to turn that over because I might come back to that. 8 of Swords is telling me there's a lot of fear going on for you, but the situation you're in is something that, like I said with that Bull, with that King of Coins, it's something that's in your control that you can pull yourself out of, okay? And I think you're kind of in this position where you're still blaming other people, you're still blaming all the situations, you're still blaming the environment. But this is something, especially because this is a spiritual message, that you have to be able to pull yourself out of. This is something that you're just overwhelmed by fear, okay? But you got to do it, okay? And you're going to find that you don't know. You don't know the exact outcome, okay? But you do need to take a leap of faith. Be careful of temptations to like drown yourself. Be careful of letting your ego take control. I feel with the background with these two cards being so similar, I think this is driven by fear, but I think the fear that you're feeling is driven by your ego. And I think you really need to be careful of letting your ego take over in this situation, but also don't let the fear keep you from acting. I think it's time for you to take some sort of leap of faith, especially if you're starting a new spiritual practice, if you're like trying to join a coven, join a course, join a church, start, your own spiritual practice where you're not a part of anything with anyone else, but you're doing it solitary. Whatever it is, take that leap of faith. Trust that this is time to heal. Do not let the fear keep you from acting. Do not let that fear or your ego, because I'm feeling so much ego energy. Don't let that keep you from taking this leap towards healing. And I understand that you probably are someone who wants people to care about you, but you're also the same kind of person who pulls away from people a lot. So you're not like, it's kind of this push and pull thing with you. And some people may, like I said, have pulled away. I don't remember which card I said that with, but you may have noticed people have been pulling away. A lot of that is because you're very off-putting right now, and that's not because you're a bad person. You haven't made any, like, you're not bad. You're not unlikable. You're not unlovable. So if you're telling yourself that, stop it right now. But I think you're kind of stuck in your head and stuck in like memories of the good times and the times you felt more spiritually sound, and now you're not feeling as spiritually sound. So maybe you should just run away and give it all up. I think that also might actually be the temptation we're seeing with the devil energy, that you're just wanting to give it all up or like not deal with the problem. And I think dealing with the problem, getting past that bullheadedness, getting through those shallow thoughts and going way deeper towards healing yourself is going to help you find this spiritual stability. Even if for a while it feels unstable, sometimes we have to go through harder times. Like things have to get worse before they get better. Not all the time, but sometimes that's the case. And I feel like that might be the case with you right now. And you're just afraid of doing it. But I think you need to do the shadow work. I think you need to get deep. I think you need to tell yourself that you are worthy of love. And if you truly believe that, you're going to be able to let go of your ego and let yourself be guided through this healing process, despite how painful some moments of it might be. Okay, that is your reading for Wednesday. I do hope it helped. If this reading resonated with you, I definitely recommend doing things like deep shadow work, getting a therapist, getting readings to watch your progress as you go, whether that is from me or someone else. If you would like a reading from me, there is a link in the description for that. And you can also find me on Facebook, message me there through Maiden Circle Covenant Academy. I do hope, again, that this reading was helpful to some of you. Let me know if it resonated with you, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so, so much for being here. And remember always that I love you. Bye.